more light, no?
Great.
It's gonna help to read. Better, no?
Yeah.
We'll break the Hugel part, but cognition needs that. So, lovely. Let go. I think we are quite aware of what we are gonna work with today. So, no more stop on that. I have drawn a cycle that I think this is the typical thing that we have in the schools when we are little, and we study nature, and we find out, of course, no? And that's also why I'm using this closer of the year, but the autumn part, because it's very important to find out that as beings, we are alive beings, we are born, we start to be attached, human beings, to our relatives, caregivers. That's also where we left it last time, as you can remember, attachment styles. How important is that? Because that's gonna allow us to become someone. For sure, here there are two traits, two cycles, that they go epigenetics or genetics, one, and the other is the environmental influence that we have had. So that become is made up of a lot. I'm not gonna stop there, but this who I am today, okay? So it's not just a personality thing, it's also I would say like a gathering of factors, okay? That is still, psychologists, they are fighting against the other ones, the doctors, to find out what is right, what is not right in terms of what it influenced the human being. And still we don't know precisely. Some theories, they say about 70-30, environment and 30 genetics. The very interesting part here is how it does get activated, no? And I think that's also very beautiful to find out, okay, I can have a potential mental health disorder, schizophrenia, and that is very a genetic thing running in the family, for example, that I've been very closely working with. And I can see, yeah, it comes with the family, but of course it does matter what I do in my life, okay? Because as the medical health system talks about, and I really like, they always put this example of we all have a potential of something, but definitely the last drugs, all of this part is gonna be also about what we do in terms of choices, in terms of relationships, in terms of thoughts, in terms of approach. That's why we have a lot to do. And of course, I wouldn't be working as I'm working right now and giving it all in also the psychopedagogical part if I would think that this is just a 30% that we can do. I think we can do a lot, of course. It depends on the person, it depends on the conditions, it depends on the resources. But here, the ones that we are sitting here today, I would say we can do a lot to really work with what our family systems, they have left for us, okay? But for sure, awareness, and as always, commitment and homework needs to be there every day. So please, that you know, record it there, and become. So who I'm gonna become, it does depend on me. For sure, I have to look back and to see what is that and where I have been born, but that's gonna become a lot in me. And then here we come to the core of today, that it is like, whether we like it or we don't like it, grief is part of life. Life and death in a more broad scope, but as we go into the small scope, it is like we are facing griefs like that. And also I feel like a lot of people, they don't really know how much grieving processes they have had in life until they don't stop for a year in therapy. And they start to find out, okay, when I moved from one home to another when I was little, okay, that friend that stopped talking to me, and this is a silent way also, the friendships. Boyfriends is more normal, that we know, no? Couples that I have left, no, and we really grieve them with everything, and girlfriends for sure. But it's just like all of this, it's there, and then, of course, being expats, and that's also very interesting that we don't grieve when we arrive here, we grieve in different moments of here. As we also we're talking about, the grief process of being an expat is not a grief that starts and ends here. It's also a grief that it reactivates and reactivates and reactivates because the home country is always there. And we come back a lot, no? Mainly a lot, how I see also here the faces. Some people, they go less, but in general, we are activating that grief all the time. So when I let go again of that, that's gonna come a new wave of grief. Very, very important. So whether we like it or not, we need to learn to grieve. And that's why it's important. Grief and trauma, they are part of lives. And to me, how I understand them, and hopefully I give that kind of energy to you, is that they have a lot of wisdom and information about ourselves and about how we can evolve and about the collective intelligence outside there. So in that way, it's also important that we really like come into the vibe of let's make it through, okay? It doesn't mean that I need to grieve fast. It just means that I need to grieve, okay? And I need to allow that kind of process to be lubricated, okay? That it's not that harmful, but we know, and that's also the tips, no, that I'm gonna start with that later on. But last part, detachment. It also implies that I need to reattach to something, because in physical terms also, but also in a very, I would say, spiritual or transpersonal way, the energy doesn't die, it just transforms. I don't know if you have heard that, but that's also very important that, okay, the energy that I stop putting in something, it will be needed to be activated and put in something else, okay? If I lost my girlfriend, what am I gonna do with that time free, with that space in my life? So it's also very important to say, now I have more energy, you know? And of course, it's up to me again to choose from this model I just showed you, what do I do? Because if I'm gonna really do this to me and stay in the emotional phase of the grief process and think, you know, that it is all my fault, I'm not really helping the grief process there. If I'm just thinking that, what a fucking bitch, you know, that she has done that to me, and that, wow, imagine, again, same story from different angles, but same story. But if I step out as the group of three today, and I witness, that's also very interesting, very, isn't it?
Yeah, it was very strong.
Very strong, beautiful. I want to really share now, because it's beautiful to witness and to say, okay, I'm here just being here, not doing something. And I mean not thinking, not judging, not reacting, not receiving, okay, because it's never-ending. Actually today I fight it myself a little bit because I want to also show you, I will do that next time, about this drama triangle, that is we are all the time in this kind of victim and pursuer, all the time. You know, it's fault of my mother, because what a mother I had. No, it's that your mother did what she could with what she had, okay, and you always listen to me these words, because it's like that. The thing now is what you do with that. If you keep insisting, you know, in being in that relationship, you know you can be harmed. And I mean, I'm the first one having this kind of relationships. I'm not talking about I have gained the wisdom of, no, I'm untouchable. No, we're not untouchable, and I become you know, and I need to shake it off, and I need to take care of my wound again, and all of these things. But it's also that gives you a lot of wisdom of who do you think I am? So who do I think I am? You know, that I still can't help my mother more than what she wants to be helped. No, impossible mission, impossible. But I tell me the story of, I can't do it. No, you cannot do it, because until she doesn't want to get help, she will not be able. And maybe she goes to another life, if it exists or no, we don't know, but that's her story, you know, end of the story. But I keep trying to change my mom, and to change my boyfriend, and to change my boss, and that's impossible, okay? What is true is life cycle. So movement, changes, they do occur. Very interesting, but not when we want, and not when we want them, okay? Because this fragment of time, we don't know when it is. And that's also the very, I would say, humble thing, to just trust the process. It's the only thing we are left with, okay? And we will not understand it when we are in our 20s, forget about it. But I want to say so much, but I received a new client of 19 years old, and I was so sweet and beautiful. And I mean, I really think she has a lot of potential, but she's just 19, you know? I mean, I have lived a lot. No, my darling, I mean, we talk in 16 years, okay? And then, of course, I will talk also when I am in my 50s, and now reaching my 40s, and I will say, okay, you know, Chris, no, when you were in your 40s. So we are keep evolving, no? But for her, she has lived it all, you know? And it's like, hello, I need to shake it. No, you cannot shake it. Life shakes you, okay? So, will you take it or not? And then, let it go. So, very serious, here I get again. And it's grief phases. There are many theories about it. The one I have used the most is the one I have learned in my specialty, and it does help. As you very wisely said before, it doesn't go 1, 2, 3, but I'm giving you this because it helps the mind also to feel I have a little bit more of control, if we do have any, okay? We do have when we have awareness. So in that sense, we do have it. But what I want to say is, we have phases, and then first we start by the mind, cognition, okay? When we lose someone, the first thing that it comes to the body is a reaction of neglection. And this is like this way of, I'm not believing it. I don't know if you have heard that, this thing that I don't believe I lost my blah, blah, blah. And you can be there, sometimes years, I promise, sometimes years. And we are still thinking that we are grieving. We are not grieving, we are in neglection. And this is so important because we are super, super amazingly well made. I don't know who made the spirit of the human being or the nature, but we are so well made. That means if I have to be in neglection, I will be in neglection. That means disassociation, that means dispersonalization, that means disrealization. There are a lot of concepts here, but what I want to say is like, I'm out of the reality, or I'm out of my body, or I'm out of good contact with another one. There are a lot of ways to neglect, okay? But in short, we neglect someone else and we neglect ourselves in this story. That's why I brought you also this couple workshop, because couples, they're gonna show you as a lot of, wow, what am I neglecting? You know, here. Because normally it is the neglection about my, 1 second, but I want to finish this. What is happening behind this neglection? That my whole system, mind, body, and affective system is preparing. For what? For grieving. So that's so important. That's so important that we are there. So it's not like, oh, Christina told us that neglection exists, I want to go fast through the phases. Again, these times, we don't know how long they can take, and we need just to respect them, okay? That's also very important. The same for the others, no? Because I'm going to therapy, I know more than you, so you should go into the emotional grief phase. No. Maybe that person just needs to be in the neglection forever and ever. I mean, and she cannot do more, or he cannot do more, okay? And I just need to hold the space, again, witnessing. And full respect. And what I do outside, I do it inside. Okay, so remember that if I'm saying to the other, you should do that, I'm also not accepting what I should really do. So it's not random that.
I was just going to remind that neglection is a defense mechanism for the whole system. When the system is not ready to receive, then it's okay to neglect until you feel ready to face that whatever you need to face.
Exactly. How important is that? Yeah. Thank you.
But you already said it, so.
No. I mean, together we have more wisdom, I said before, no? And I'm here also to learn from you. So, I mean, I'm happy that you said it, because also you're saying it from your experience.
Yeah, because I kind of find myself very angry when I was in the neglection phase. Like, I kind of find myself being like, oh, are you weak to witness this or not? No, it's not the weakness, it's just a preparation of everything.
Exactly.
And it's too much to handle. Okay, it's okay to leave it and then
exactly
have it later.
Good. Very well expressed. And also something is cooking, no? Something is cooking in the kitchen while we are here. So that's also to trust that process. Good. Thank you, Tuche. So, rationalize. Then I start to enter in the phase of this has happened, you know, and I need to face it. And then, of course, how important is here to start to find what resources I'm going to use. And I go to the deeps. So, going through pain is essential. Now that things is obvious, and we will go into the emotional part. But support is fundamental, okay, in this process. Because if I don't also allow myself to feel held, I'm not going to also open up to how much pain I need to experience to move forward in this grief process. Make sense? Anyone can make it on their own. It's absolutely impossible, and I am a very independent, autonomous woman, I promise you. But still, I find that it's impossible, and there are not examples outside there that they teach me, yeah, he or she could make it on her own, because on his own it's impossible. We are relational beings. That's why it's again the power of the relationships, the power of the friendships, the power of the couples, the power of the family, the power of who we choose us to be with, alive beings, but also the power of nature, and the power of the stars, and the power of absolutely everything, you know, because outside there also there's a lot of power. It's up to us to receive it or not. But I mean, you just look at a scene, I don't know, but I really think like every year I feel more, and I fall more in love with life, I promise you, and I'm not having any happy pill. And I just feel like, wow, you know, like today through the window of my kitchen, I saw two old men helping each other outside there, and I feel, wow, isn't it beautiful? I mean, I call 3 fucking days to the insurance to fight against a case and and it comes, and the IT man, you have to call IT man. I was like, IT man, no. I find the computer, poof, my energy in the computer gets dropped, and yes, we got this, you know? And he responds, and he's there, and in English, oh, Spanish, but you speak good English. I was like, with a very Spanish accent. But it's not necessary to have Spanish, of course, here, because in Denmark, I was, is that true? I mean, is that true that an IT man from Denmark is very alive, you know, and very wanting to help? And so who are we to say Danish people are tiki-tiki, you know? I don't think he wanted to flirt with me, you know, through the phone. I mean, you never know. But I mean, I don't think it was about that. What I want to say, it's also, you find what you also project. Okay? And I promise I was not the most alive person, because I was fucking 19 thing that I have not done for 2 months, and thinking, okay, I do it because of the person who needs, you know, the help with this case, but it's not. But what I want to say is, after all, you also find what you plant. So that's also very important, that there is a lot of, like I said, power, information outside there. So it's up to you to decide in which color you paint the picture. Because if you just paint it in the color of whatever, no, I was telling the other group the last time, I broke the glass at the end of the weekend, and it was 8 o'clock, and I have to put my son to sleep, and I'm so tired, and after the event of a lot of people, and then I say, oh my God, I need to do that, and I just stay with the energy of a broken glass in the middle of the living room, after a very social motherhood weekend, no, and going next day to put your son very early to work. So I say like, okay, Chris, no, don't go into the stress, and don't go into the failing energy, you know. You just let your son put the socks, you know, and the this, because next day I'm not sure that the crystal is gonna be out with this lack of light that we have here, so it will take me a while to do it good. But what I want to say is, like, after that is where you put the focus, okay? Instead of staying with the what is wrong, you know, wrong things that are gonna be always, but if I stay with that, that's what it is in the system. But what I want to say, rationalize, go, emotional. What is that? The 3 basic emotions. We have for sure also the loving one, but the anger, sadness, and fear. Okay, so that is very, very important, that we really find out in which one we get stuck, because in my experience we are not very good at juggling with them. You know, all of us. There are people that they are better in the anger, so they stay there thinking about how fucking bitch he was or she was, and what she did to me, and there are other people that they are also okay with the sadness, and they just stay in sadness, and they never also lift themselves up. So it's also to find out that you don't get stuck in one, and you can unfold the process, and at least visit a little bit, okay? The ones that they need more safety, I would say, from your system, and again with the right support, okay? Closure, the most important phase of all, which is acceptance, that I let go. That's also very important. I didn't choose to let go, but I need to choose to accept that letting go. And I'm going to give you another thing that maybe will confuse you even more, which I think is right, because then you will find your own resources here. Gratefulness, as we did before. If I don't connect with my heart, and I really say thank you to whatever life wanted to teach me with this lesson, it's impossible. And the last part, you're learning with the structure, that's going to change me, okay? It's a new attachment, also what I'm going to get into with that new energy. So in that way, every grief process, the same as every trauma, they are going to make a shock in my system. It's absolutely impossible. At least I didn't find a way, and you finally share it with me, but I didn't find a way to go through these processes and feel like very peaceful and very I got it all and I'm gonna be good. No, we can lose the trust, and we can feel like I lose my ground and I lose me. You said something very interesting before. No, I want to let go of me. That's very important, and do it, because, and as also my main message to you, I need to let go of my ego. My ego is my identity with personal defenses, coping mechanism, and that we really need to let go. Maybe not 100%, I'm gonna vary. We need masks, as we talked the last time. We need to have safety defense mechanisms, okay? Trusting the neglection, okay? But what I need to open up is to this collective wisdom. And I say collective wisdom in the sense of being held by each other, seeing how the others do the grieving, how I can do it with myself. Because the self, of course, is not just collective wisdom, it's also a self very individual, but very also in connection with the wholeness, if I allow the wholeness to come into my system, like I said before. Maybe I was gonna meet a not nice IT man, okay, today, and I still need to let go that of my system. Or what I need to, and that's also the next sentence, let go to let in. Sometimes we have to let go of the idea of let go, you know, and just to say, that's gonna be with me, my anxiety, for example. That's gonna be with me. No? A lot of people they tell me, is it gonna be cure this? I don't know. And I mean, I never say this is chronic either because I don't like diagnosis and I think they have a lot of potential fixation of information. But after all, if I do have something, it's because it does play an important survival function. So if I just say my anxiety, I'm gonna be an anxious being, okay, but I'm not just that. I'm other things as well. So it's also I don't know how it was your experience, and I want to listen about how you related to the object of letting go. But it's not normally, like I said, a Hollywood movie, mwah, thank you, ciao ciao, and see you in next life. No, it's about, sometimes I need to stay with attention. And attention that hopefully, little by little, the more I expose myself to that, the more I learn about me, the more I learn about others, the more I exchange this information, it's gonna be like, okay, I soften the edges, and I soften the tension, okay, that I have with that thing, and I let go. And maybe what I want to let go, I cannot let it go, and maybe life comes and shows me that I need to let go something else. And that is the thing that I need to let go, okay? One last thing about this self-concept. This is about also the same as becoming. Becoming is a dynamic thing, okay? So we are not anything static. We want to be static, and we want to just say, okay, I have control, I hold back, or I let go, like the autumn does, and I want the spring in 2 days. No. Like I said today, it's like, if life puts me to let go, I just need to channel that energy. I like the channeling thing because it's a way to just, letting it pass through. And then see, who am I now? Am I a person that it is more whatever, more that or more that or more that? And is that helping me? Because that's important. If I just start to distrust everyone because I have had a not okay couple, that's also not a way to go. You know, it was so beautiful last time. Was a client of mine, older, and she was just like, I don't trust anyone because I ended a relationship that it was very, very mindful for me, very important. But out of the sudden, she started that road, and suddenly she just went back to an older relationship that she got with someone that she loved so much. And she said, we couldn't make it together, her and me, but it doesn't really matter, you know, because she's taught me a lot also of what values a relationship should have. But again, the ego part came and said, no, but I don't want any relationship anymore. Okay, I mean, it's okay, you want a relationship or you want a relationship. I don't mind the relationship. What I mind is that you are resourceful enough to find out that you learned something from an earlier relationship. That is still love, because love has many ways and many transformation is through love as well. And for sure, love and healing, is about going through pain, but it's about going through love. Okay, so that's same, I would say. If I don't let in that kind of energy, but of course, I'm not gonna feel love if I don't love me. End of the story. So, how important is to work in my self-esteem? But of course, my self-esteem is gonna grow if I allow myself to feel love. So it's all very beautiful, connected, as you can see, and very dynamic. End of my discourse today, and I want to hear you.